Sup, gamers? It's time for the spooky hours. Where did we leave off? Spooky things were happening and, he got a bat. My boy got a bat, so he has protection. That's what you call protection. A big bat to carry around. Why do you need knives when there's bats? So we're gonna start here, where we left off. Pretty self-explanatory. Okay. Oh, all these tips. I really should go through these and look at them. Because there's an achievement on Steam. Or you have to look at all of the tips. But, you know, we could kind of do that after. And then we could, like, pick out the foreshadowing. Okay, so we're gonna continue here. Where did we leave? Oh, waking up. It's the first time I'd ever woke with such clarity. Eloise! It was 5:59, just moments before my alarm would go off. Dude, he woke up before his alarm went off. He's having a good day. I was amazed at the precision of my internal clock. I had made preparations for the next day of school before I went to bed. I changed quickly and descended to the deserted lower floor. Keiichi's feeling good today. Now that he has a weapon. It appeared that my mom was still asleep. Neither breakfast nor lunch was ready. Yesterday, I just unilaterally declared that I would be leaving early today, so I couldn't be helped. Oh. So he can't even make dinner. Not dinner, fucking breakfast for his parents. Yeah, he's gonna make it for himself and then leave. I slathered jam on some bread and topped it with some instant cocoa. Oh, hold on. Okay, like the drink on the side, not like in the sand. Okay. Just as I was finishing up breakfast, Mom rose groggily from her slumber. My, Keiichi, you're up early. Is there some sort of school event? Oh, there's going to be. Not really. Answering bluntly, I picked up my bag and stood after stuffing 2 slices of bread down my throat. Oh, no, we didn't get the bat. We made plans to get the bat. That's what it was. You're leaving already? What about lunch? You don't wait a bit, I can't make it. If I waited for her to make lunch, it would end up being the same time as usual, and we can't have that, because Ren is out for me. If I did that, I would raise the chances of me running into Ren and Mion on the way. Yes, from today onwards, I was going to go to school alone. He's too cool for friends. I'll be fine for today. Then what will you do for lunch? I don't know. Eat myself? I'll slip out and buy some bread or something at the store. Oh, that's good. That's good. Always have a good slice of bread and air for lunch, you know? Really? Then here's some lunch money. Be sure to bring back the receipt. Took a 1,000 yen bill from Mom and slipped it into my pocket. It's pretty early. Is Ren-chan up this early as well? No, just me. Did you tell Ren-chan that you're leaving early? You better not tell her. She can't know. I have no reason to tell her every little detail now, do I? I don't need to tell her every little detail of my life, Mom. Leave me alone. Finding it difficult answering on the onslaught of questions, I made an annoyed face. Tell Rena that I went ahead when she comes. Hey, Keiichi, well, wait! It's not that I didn't trust my parents. I just couldn't rely on them. They couldn't help me. I could only hope that they didn't get involved. It was safer that way. Stop being such a big man, Keiichi. My mom's annoying voice, good job, was cut off by the slam of the door. For the first time since I moved here, I headed down the road to school alone. Well, there has to have been like 1 day or 2 where you didn't know who Rena was. Unless you met right away. Up until now, I'd always walked down the same path at the same time each day. So I always met the same people at the same places. Today was different. I didn't meet the people I would normally, and nobody was at the places where I would have normally met them. Of course, Rena wasn't in the spot where we usually met, and there wasn't anyone at the spot where we would have met up with Mion. The length of the tree's shadows, the morning air, the brightness of the sun was a completely different type of morning from what I was used to. Without a doubt, it felt strange, and that threw him off his game. Oh God! It left me the impression that I had destroyed the illusion Hinamizawa had set up for me before I had enough time to prepare all of the props needed to deceive me. Jesus. My Keiichi-kun? Who's that? Rena? You're so early. Is everyone meeting early this morning? The person who called out to me was someone we always passed. Oh, okay. As we were taking a walk along the edge of the fields. Her name was, I forgot. I feel that. Of course, this wasn't the spot where we usually passed each other. Woke up early today, so thought it would be a good change of pace. That's all. People in this town don't like change. I threw out a random excuse. What about Rena-chan and Mio-chan? Are you by yourself today? Yes, I'm going through a depression phase. Leave me alone! Well, yeah. I was being asked the same type of questions my mom was asking. So I answered them in the same uninteresting, vague manner. It wasn't funny being asked where Rena was each time I passed by someone. I'll only turn it down a bit. Making water noises too loud. Maybe it was to be expected. Because for so long we were always together so amicably. Even if I felt like if I left my guard down, we could still be Stop it, Keiichi. Yeah, no friends. No friends anymore. No more. Don't think about that anymore. It's in the past. We're a different person now. We're stronger than that. Spent all day yesterday thinking about how dangerous it was to go soft, didn't you? Soft, Keiichi. Beep, 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 beep. A car horn blared from out of nowhere. Ah! When I was walking, lost in thought, that horn was way too close. A mechanical behemoth barreled at me from behind, catching me completely off guard. By the time I turned around, the van's hulking chassis was almost on top of me. It seemed plenty of cars veered to the opposite shoulder to avoid pedestrians, but this car was doing the opposite. I felt like there was somebody on the opposite shoulder, and the van was swerving in my direction to avoid them. That blissfully ignorant train of thought delayed me from realizing something much, much more important. That large mass was hurling right at me. Dude, hecking move out of the way! Was it going to hit me? Inside of my head instantly flooded with a painfully cold liquid. In that moment, the scene before me, no, time itself, had frozen. In the silence of that frozen moment, I compared the van so close that I had no way to dodge it, and my body, the upper half, twisted awkwardly in order to look behind me. Oh God. There was no way I could dive out of the way in my current position. If I lost focus now, this moment would unpause. I would probably be plowed over, caught in this silly pose. Then my upper body over towards the patio by the side of the road. If I bent far enough, I'd get away with just being hit by the side view mirror. As soon as that thought crossed my mind, the temporal stasis was shattered by the deafening sound of the van. The side mirror struck my shoulder, sending me spinning off through the air like a top, locked in the contorted position. Dude, he's trying to get murdered today. So many people just out for him. And it's not even paranoia at this point. They're actually out for him. Sent tumbling through the air, I crashed into a muddy patio by the side of the road. My entire body was soiled and drenched. But the choice I had made in that instant was unmistakably for the best. I was covered in mud, but when the alternative was being hit by a car, it was the closest I could be to being unscathed. Yeah, because at this point, Keiichi still wants to live, right? Rising out from the patio, I had enough in me to glare over at the stopped van and yell profanities at the driver. I'm not sure if he was able to see me, but the van sped off suddenly. Of course. He wasn't gonna stay and say, hey, can you get in front of my car again? I missed. Wait, damn it. This is what they call a hit and run, wasn't it? I couldn't help but continue to yell out profanities. The disgrace from being covered in mud hurt me more than any physical wounds. Oh, really? You'd rather be hit by a car than put in a mud pud? Come on. I slowed through the muddy patio and made my way back onto the road. This is a crime, god damn it. Yes, it is. Shit, I'll track you down and sue you. If I go looking for a van, I'm sure to find it in this little village. You're right! And if you had looked at the person, you could probably recognize him too. Though, Keiichi's not very good at that. Path I was on had rice paddies on either side. It had become so narrow that one car could barely fit through. It wasn't a place you could tear full speed down in a car, let alone pass by pedestrians. Not only was it a narrow road, but the car just now was closer to my side of the road than the other when it went past me. Even as I cursed, I was desperately trying to suppress the dark cloud roiling up within me. Dude, just go back home. You tried. This wasn't a hit and run. That car just now was trying to run me over, wasn't it? Thinking back, I did feel like there had been a car creeping up on me slowly for a while. Oh! No. That's right, as soon as I parted ways with that person taking a walk, I had a feeling the whole time. Dude, she signaled the driver. She's like, yep, she's here. He's here. Send him out. Get him. If it had wanted to pass me, then it had no shortage of chances. Normally I would have felt suspicious and turned around sooner. But I was lost in thought, and now I was kicking myself for not realizing it was there sooner. But then, when the path became narrow and there was no one else in sight, he floored it. Oh. Okay. If I had hesitated for even a moment, the result would have been no laughing matter. The adrenaline rush from nearly being run over subsided, and realization of just how terrifying the preceding events were sunk in. There was no doubt about it. That man was intentionally trying to hit me. The cold, vicious sweat seeped from my scalp and slid down my back before dribbling off. I struggled to avoid falling into a panic. There was still the possibility that this was really just an accident. I doubt it. You know, this is the type of village where you would accidentally hit someone and then walk out and try to help them, not run. Like, if they're running, then you know. Plus, if it was anyone else in the village, they would have recognized the car, and they would have known who it was. But not Keiichi, because he's stupid. Calm down, Keiichi. But also, don't be so naive, Keiichi. Being that lax will get you killed next time. You need to always be on your toes. Don't give them any openings. If my enemy was really out to kill me, the next time they would use a more reliable method. That time came, and I was acting like I was now. I being covered in mud was the price I had to pay for my own naivete. Dude, that's not even too bad. I mean, dead, covered in mud, you know, I'd say it's pretty good. Covered in mud, but without injury. Not even a sprain. I guess this is what you call the silver lining. Began walking again, this time cautiously. I wouldn't even show a hint of carelessness. I suspected only Ren and the others, up until now. No, it was because I had suspected them that I had believed there were no other enemies. Ueshi-san said so, didn't he? No, it's a whole conspiracy. It's the entire village against you. There was a possibility that all the families of the village were involved. Exactly. Was I really reared so deeply in the situation that I had no choice but to try and carry on as usual? Wouldn't it be safest just to hold myself up in my house? Exactly! That's exactly what I'm saying. But the moment I abandoned my regular routine, everyone around me would abandon theirs as well. To get you, you know? The outlier. That was just too horrifying of a thought. I recalled the tales Oishi-san told me of when Hinamizawa was still called Onikakushi. A frightening tale of an entire village of demons hunting their prey, surrounding them and eating them alive. One must not interfere with the demons. One must pretend not to see it. The enemy were numerous, all of the village families. The villagers with their unwavering faith in the curse would do nothing to help me. The strong, sudden flash of sunshine made me slightly dizzy. I had no idea what was going on anymore. Dude, he's out. You literally just go home. You don't need to keep going like this. When I suspected it was the work of man, I would catch a glimpse of Yashiro-sama's curse. When I suspected it was Yashiro-sama's curse, someone would poke their head out. What was coincidence? What was intentional? Who was my enemy? Who was just a bystander? No, what I really truly wanted to know was, how did I end up with the proverbial bullseye painted on my back? Eventually, an answer in the form I could understand will appear. I don't care when that will happen, because until then, I cannot die. That alone fueled my resolve to fight and will keep me alive. Yeah, as long as you have the will to survive, you will survive. Usually. I remembered seeing the metal bat in the gym storage shed, but there was a padlock on the door barring my entry. At the very least, I wanted to get my hands on it before everyone else arrived at school. I circled around the school grounds impatiently. Let me hit! Bang on it. But all I could find were things like pieces of lumber, nothing I could bring into the classroom easily. Then I had an epiphany. I should search inside the classroom! Yeah. If there was something in the classroom to begin with, then there wouldn't be a problem. I could tell that everyone's indoor shoes were still in their lockers. Good thing I came early, no one else was here yet. I wondered, what could I find in the classroom? I didn't think I could find an especially effective weapon like a bat. Except... But I couldn't be helped at this point. Until the gym storage shed was open, I needed to find a substitute. A lingering hint of naivete whispered that there was no way I'd be attacked at school. Can't think that. But such soft ideas would no longer protect me. Soft Keiichi. To think that they were slowly making their way into parts of my life that I'd once thought impenetrable. In worst case, my own house might not be safe anymore. That was an incredibly frightening thought. But I believe that not considering the worst case scenario would have been even more frightening. Anyways, I will survive. So as long as I lived, I was definitely able to escape this labyrinth of nonsense. Definitely. Probably? Sure. My exploration of the classroom came to an impasse. That much was to be expected. There was no way there would be anything that could be a weapon in this classroom. In the classroom. In case of an emergency, there was probably nothing I could do but swing my own chair around. My gaze landed on the lockers that had come to be used for personal storage. The locker that Mion used to store her pile of games was among them. There was one for each person in the class, all lined up. Of course, there was one for me as well. Well, yeah, there was supposed to be a tracksuit in my locker. Seeing me covered in mud would be strange. You could just explain you fell. I mean, it's not that hard. Should go change later. But first, I needed a weapon. Yes, first and foremost. If one of my classmates came, it would be hard to rummage through all the lockers. Swift began opening the lockers one by one. Oh, great. His first crime has been committed. They were mostly filled with things like gym clothes, personal items, and umbrellas. An umbrella. You're right. If I couldn't find anything better, then this would have to be my weapon. It's a good, pokey weapon, but not a good bludgeoning weapon. I was about to give up finding anything decent when I opened a locker that held exactly what I wanted. It was, without a doubt, a metal bat. It was well worn and pretty beaten up, but there was no doubt it was usable. In that locker that reeked of mold. Ew. There was also hung a baseball uniform. It's probably the locker of a student in a pee-wee league or something like that. If that was the case, then he'd probably ask for it back. Dude, if there's that much mold on it, I don't think he's coming back for it. At that time, I could hear voices of the children scuffling their way noisily from the hallway. Amongst them, I could make out Rika-chan and Satoko. Good morning. My, you're quite early this morning, Keiichi-san. I nonchalantly hid the bat I was holding behind my back. Okay, dude, it's a bat. I mean, he has to be pretty tall then if his leg is like that long. But, no. Well, what is with your outfit? You're covered in mud. Yeah, I had a little incident. I'm gonna change now, so cut me some slack. That said, I began taking off my clothes. Oh god. Satoko began to blush just as expected her to. Changing in front of a lady? Have you no tact at all? I'd think that a lady staring at someone who was changing would be the one lacking in tact. There's no changing room for the boys, so just deal with it. Not even stranger danger. This is just like a mental patient at this point. Keiichi is. As Satoko feigned disgust, she went into the hall, still blushing. Conversely, Rika-chan continued to stare at me, preparing to change. Rika-chan is a lady as well, then I don't think it would be appropriate for you to be watching. I'm not a lady, so it's fine. Oh? She deliberately pouted and looked at me with upturned eyes. Then, starting now, you're a lady. If I'm a lady, then I suppose I must. Oh, God, it's that easy. Rika-chan, appearing to be satisfied with being considered a lady, made her way to join Satoko in the hallway. Just as I breathed a sigh of relief, Rika-chan stopped suddenly and turned her back towards me. Are you going to start playing baseball? Seems that Rika-chan have noticed the bat. Dude, it sticks out so bad. It's literally a metal bat, you know? Yeah, just, you know, it's feeling a bit out of shape. But I thought I'd try practicing my swing. I think it's wonderful you're taking care of your health. Positive Rika-chan, supportive friend. She was talking like an old lady despite her appearance. After saying that, Rika-chan started to leave again, but stopped and looked back at me once more. Please don't lose that bat. Okay. Seems you already know I took it out of someone's locker. There was no name on the locker door. I didn't know whose bat it was, but I would be borrowing it until they complained. Wouldn't be for long, just until the gym storage shed was opened. After quickly changing into the tracksuit, I checked the time. Still plenty of time before class began because I came so early. Now what are you gonna do? Just vibe? Took the bat in one hand and went to the schoolyard. That was, of course, to practice my swing. Dude, you gotta show some proof that you're not using this for protection. I needed to make it known that I would always have the bat on me so I could practice my swing. At some point, the sunlight had become even stronger. Disregarding my classmates as they made their way to school, I took my position in the shadow of the school building. I wasn't the academic type, and I wasn't much of an athlete either. Might get muscle pain if I just suddenly started swinging. Should at least start out with some warm-ups. Doubt anyone would think I was doing something out of the ordinary. Which was the exact opposite of my actual mental state. Yeah. I gripped the bat and swung lightly. The bat was by no means light. The weight would make a reliable weapon when I needed it to be. Of course, I could only pray that the moment I needed to use this weapon would never come. Just carrying it around could deter attacks against me. Always ready. At least, that's what I hoped. Man, he's getting some good practice in, huh? Huh? Kei-chan? What are you doing? Being bombarded with such a hysterical voice, I jumped. Whoa, Keiichi-kun, are you on the baseball team? The baseball team? Oh, that's Brenna. He was right of me on. I was surprised to hear you went off ahead. What are you doing, Kei-chan? Oh yeah, more murder children. Exactly. Except, you know, there was an attempt to murder so far. But no actual murders have taken place yet. Can you tell by looking? Oh no, that's freaking Keiichi. Can you tell by looking? Practicing my swing, for the championship. Okay, you ruined it. You ruined it, Keiichi. You can say it's part of my diet if you want. Diet? Kei-chan, are you really that fat? Bet you didn't know. I actually have a beer belly. That's so. Oh my god. It's a Plumpet Jiggles. Jesus Christ. The Plumpet Jiggles. Rena, you don't have to imagine something weird like that. To disrupt Rena from imagining something like that vulgar, I ruffled her hair messily. Well then, hope you make it to regionals at least. Some men will cheer you on. Regionally speaking, it seems like Oshima High is pretty strong. They say their southpaw Kamita-kun is amazing. Good luck. Seems they've made me out some kind of local prodigy, but oh well. It's been one day. Well, if I really did make it to championship, it would be a cinch. After all, I'd be the pitcher and catcher. I'd pitch the ball, then run past the ball I just threw, and change over to being catcher in a burst of super incredible explosive speed. I laughed dryly at the ludicrous image. Going back to my senses, I smashed the bat against the ground. Yes, practice for the murder. That's exactly what's happening. Damn it. What am I laughing at? He's losing it. Hopefully they're gone by now and not watching him from a distance. You alright, buddy? I pounded the ground over and over. Yeah, thank you, Father. Thank you. I pounded the ground over and over with each impact, the reverberating traveling through the bat stung my hands. They made me smile like that, and I'll... Ugh. Don't allow anyone close to me. Don't trust anyone, no matter how many times I tell myself that. They make me smile like that, I'll... Technically, he made himself smile. His own jokes. I already knew quite well that there were demons dwelling in my smiling friends. But I just couldn't believe it. Did that kind of split personality really exist? Like how Rena confessed to the doctor? Were they simply being possessed by Oyashiro-sama? In other words, did a supernatural being like Oyashiro-sama really exist? Was it possessing everyone to try and kill me? Yeah, that would be wonderful. A collective being. If only everyone were actually my friends all along and everything was just Oyashiro-sama's fault. Damn fool, Keiichi Maebara. Come on now. You can't be silly. Also, don't hit yourself with your own bat. No self-deprecation around here. Except that's what he just did. I yelled out, drawing all the power from the pit in my stomach, and raised the bat violently into the air. Let's pray that he's not being watched right now, because this is extremely suspicious. Stop being so soft! As I screamed out with all my might, I beat the metal bat into the ground over and over. With every impact, my weakness was being beaten down. Oh, it's symbolic. Smash. Forget. Do not feel. I am a cold stone demon. Become who you wish to destroy. Smash. Don't be soft. Oh. Smash. Know your enemy. Smash. Like hell I'd let them kill me. My shoulders heaving up and down from my ragged breathing. I heard the first bell ring, just like calm down. Jesus Christ, if that's his first time trying to swing the bat, and he's already losing it that much, like, come on. Oh? Oh. Class? Class. I gasped with a sudden realization. It was the final bell. Wait, what? As I felt all the tension drain from me, I let out a deep breath. Mine was in a muddled state for much of the entire day. I didn't feel like I was awake, but I didn't feel like I was asleep either. I didn't say it felt especially comfortable, but it was kind of a relief that my sanctity of the school part of my daily life has yet to be violated. Yeah, nothing creepy at school just yet. How long would I have to keep living like this? I can only grit my teeth and bear with it as this living hell slowly gnawed away at me. Keiichi-kun, come on! It's club time, club time! I don't think Keiichi's in it right now. Or ever. The sound of Rena's voice brought me back to my senses. Come on, Kei-chan, stop spacing out. Bring your desk. Everyone was moving their desks together as usual. That's right, it was a happy fun club time. But I had no intention of taking part. Not anymore. I had haphazardly stuffed the contents of my desk into my bag as I prepared to go home. It was a weak-handed gesture to avoid having to actually say, I'll be going home now. Yeah, no, don't even talk to them anymore. Just go to school, learn things, and then leave. What's this, Kei-chan? You planning on going home right away again? Mion sounded quite disappointed. Just not in the mood. Could you just let me be for a while? One of the words that spilled from my mouth matched Mion's disapproving glare. Felt like the air in the room had dried out. Setsuko looked like she was about to say something, but perhaps dissuaded by the mood, she swallowed her words and stayed silent. Wow, she can actually read the room? Wow! No, that's rude. Nobody said a thing. Took that to mean that I could leave if I wanted. But the collective gaze of the four of them, like tiny pins used to mount an insect on display, held me in place. Rena's the one who cut through the heavy mood. Keiichi-kun, you just didn't like playing with girls, I guess? She said it in such a melancholic tone that it sent a wave of pain racing through my heart. Dude, it's not like he has any guy friends anyway. This pain was going to kill me. I wanted it to be the soft part of me that could still feel pain. His descent into edge. Tore at my chest violently, tearing out the pins that held me in place. It's not it at all. I'd only be hurting myself if I said anything more. I swallowed my words. Cutting things off there, I turned away and exited the classroom. They didn't speak a word to me as I left. Good. Oh! Freedom. It was a long, dull trip back home, but I didn't lose focus. Firmly squeezed the grip of the bat, which was already soggy from sweat. Jesus Christ. Reasoning that, I swiped it down with my sleeve. If anything were to happen, I wouldn't want it to be slippery. Always prepared. Always waiting. Since this morning, I've become especially sensitive to the presence of cars. Yeah. Even while walking, my ears pricked up and sought out threatening sounds of presences that could be closing in. That was why I could hear it. Without a doubt, there were footsteps. Those footsteps matched up perfectly with mine for a while now. Oh! Oh! What I could sense, it was just one person. I had no intention of being careless. Did they intend to follow me like the car this morning, to where in a good location to assault me? It wasn't a good idea to keep walking like this. I stopped walking and looked back. You know, that's the worst thing you could do in a situation like that in real life. The wooded path crowded with trees responded with silence, as if there was no one there to begin with. But I wouldn't be fooled. I was certain footsteps were following me. Just as I stopped, the footsteps stopped as well. Maybe it was an echo, Keiichi. You know those exist. Meaning the person following me wanted to keep their distance. That was, without question, proof that I was their target. I held my breath, waiting for that presence to panic and start moving again. The trees rustled with the sound of the wind. Higurashi also joined in the dissonant chorus, trying to throw my focus into disarray. Had 5 minutes passed? Or had it been like this for a whole 30 minutes? It was so hard to breathe that I might have suffocated. It seemed I would be the first one to panic. Without a doubt, he was lurking in the shade of that tree with bated breath. Then I'd make the first move. Fixed a grip on my bat. I raised it up to my shoulder, be ready to swing at any time. Hey, I know you're there. Oh, that's Keiichi. Hey, I know you're there. With all my might, I screamed at whoever was hiding in the shade of the trees. But the present in the shade didn't budge. Budge, not bulge. Jesus. Until the moment I found that they had no intention of revealing themselves. I know already. I know you're there. I screamed out angrily at them again. But even still, they didn't move at all. Then I'll go over there myself. Oh, God. With all due vigilance, I approached step by step. Stepping to the tree's shadow, I saw a human figure there. That figure was curled up like a small animal. Who? Rena. Rena! She realized I'd found her. Her expression softened. She seemed apologetic, wasn't going to speak a word. Did you have some business with me? I wouldn't accept that silence and screamed the question at her. Not really, it's just, Rena was in a panic with tears welling up in her eyes. Don't scream at her. Well, hold on. Nah, it's fine. It was obvious that she had been following me. What about the club? Since you're not, I'm not. That shouldn't matter. Don't mind me and just play. But I'm just worried about you. Thinking about how I'd been acting until now, it wasn't hard to imagine that my behavior could have been perceived as strange. Could have. Definitely did. Serena was concerned. At a quick glance, that's how it would seem. But I wasn't going to let my guard down that easily. Even if that really was the case, she still wouldn't have to do something like to try to tail me. She should have called out to me when I was leaving and gone out right with me. Rena didn't do that. She kept her distance from me and matched my walking speed. On top of that, she matched the sound of her footsteps and deviously tried to hide her presence from me. Then, after she realized I noticed she was there, she held her breath as she tried hiding from me. She wore a timid expression that would force one to take pity on her, but without a doubt, she was tailing me. Stop following me. Yeah, I mean, you're right. Oh, stop feigning ignorance! Oh my god. Still glaring at Rena, I continued walking onwards. After I walked for a bit, she ignored my command and began walking again. Oh, Rena, stop. You don't want to trigger this man. I yelled at her once more. I told you not to follow me. Eek, but my house is in the same direction. Oh my god. Then walk up ahead of me. I'll start walking once I can't see you anymore. I moved out of the way and waved my butt violently to urge her forward. Jesus Christ. I'd like to go home together with you. Then you should have matched his pace instead of walking in the back like Slender Man, you know? Making a pitiful expression, she meekly squeaked out the words in a voice that she knew would cut into my heart. That agitated me to no end. Yeah, she's doing it on purpose. I knew it was a lie. If you wanted to go home together, then you should have called out to me. Now you're just blurting out random lies. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. It seemed that the seething anger within me was written all over my face. Even without me saying anything, Rena had understood what I was feeling inside. If you get it, then go. I swung the bat, urging her again to walk. Rena looked back and forth between me and the bat, and started walking hesitantly, then stopped again. Go on then, hurry! I'm going, so please stop with the bat. It's scary. Rena guarded herself while pointing at me holding the bat. I may have realized I wasn't planning on using this bat for baseball. Another B word. Bodies. Lowered the bat, but still guardedly opened the way for her. Go. There's no problem now, is there? Jesus Christ, Keiichi. He's just being careful. He's just being safe. There was nothing else she could protest. She passed by me timidly so as not to set me off. As I watched her pass, she stopped completely after having barely moved at all. Hey, don't stop! Then a powerful gust blew past us, raging, my face with dust. The dust got in my eyes and clouded my vision. Oh God! But my safety went down for a quick second. While rubbing my eyes with the left hand, I swung blindly with the bat in my right, protecting the small opening I'd presented. But Rena didn't even try to attack during that opening. Attack me? No. She hadn't budged an inch. I could tell from the sound of her fluttering her skirt in the wind. Pocket sand! Rena just threw sand at Keiichi's face. Oh God! As her skirt settled, so did the silence. And then when the dust settles, she's gonna bear that horrible expression of murderous intent. At that moment, the voice inside me immediately warned me of impending danger. I was caught by surprise. The smell of the air had changed. That was the presence of Yashiro-sama? He just, was on the wind and just, flowed himself into Rena? Is that what just happened? Without me realizing it, the air around me suddenly felt like a calamity was about to befall me. It's like the air had suddenly become invisible concrete, like Ren and I were locked into space. Ren didn't move an inch. Also unable to move, I stared at her back. Oh, so she threw the sand and then turned around and showed her back to me. Rena was the first to break the silence. Instantly, she altered her stance. Felt like I just witnessed her shift from Rena into that other person who looks like Rena. But the voice was the one I knew well, which filled me with a kind of bewildering pity. Carelessly, I felt relief upon hearing that pitiful voice. Well, excuse me, but, can I ask you something? Too shy to even turn around, Rena squeezed her voice out desperately. She trembled. What? Well, why do you have a bat? I wonder. The question Rena asked was no means unexpected. I can carry whatever I want. It's a free country. But you didn't have one up until today. Why so suddenly? It's alright if I decide to do something suddenly, isn't it? Is it strange that I have a bat? Because, Keiichi, you're not the kind of person to play baseball. It's weird. Oh, dude. Okay, now you're actually gatekeeping baseball. Dude, cancelled? I couldn't tell what kind of answer she was looking for, and I was getting tired of answering her. Dude, Keiichi can play baseball if he hecking wants to, okay? Leave him alone. I just suddenly got the urge to play baseball. Is that so weird? It's weird. She answered instantly, and that annoyed me slightly. I just suddenly wanted to play baseball, and I wanted to practice my swing, so I'm carrying around a bat. What's strange about that? Yeah, don't pester too much. What if he got scarred because his mom said he was fat? And then he needed to take up baseball in order to make himself feel better and to make his mom proud. Okay? What if it's too personal for him to explain to you? Strange. Weird. Definitely. Why is Keiichi-kun also? Your ramblings are annoying me. Is it that strange for me to have an interest in sports? Dude, Keiichi liking sports? Wow. Try to sound a bit more threatening to end the conversation. Until my suspicions about Rena were cleared, I had no obligation to answer her questions. I'm sorry. Don't get so angry. Rena didn't turn around and spat out the words of apology one after the next. Just one last thing. Tell me one last thing. I don't feel like talking anymore. Hurry up and go. I yelled loudly at her, causing her to flinch like she had been struck. Seeing her in such a pathetic state caused my heart to ache sorely. He's experiencing some cognitive dissonance with his actions here. It's like he doesn't really want to do this, but he feels like he's being forced to by the position he's in. But even though she was afraid, she stubbornly kept herself from moving. Before I was able to threaten her again, Rena asked her final question. Why is that the bat the same too? What does she mean that by the bat was the same? I had no idea what she was talking about. What are you saying? I mean, why is even the bat the same? I don't understand what you mean at all. Say it clearly. Even still, Rena didn't turn around. After inhaling deeply, she screamed. I mean, why is even the bat the same as Satoshi-kun's? Satoshi being... Huh? Upon hearing that name blurted out of the blue, I became dumbfounded for a brief moment. By Satoshi, does she mean the student who transferred out last year? He stole his garments! No, that couldn't be. Rena tried to cover it up by saying he transferred, but Oishi-san told me quite clearly that he was missing. He was the student who sat at my seat up until last year. He was believed to have been demoned away by Yashiro-sama's curse. I didn't know the details about his disappearance. The aunt he lived with was killed the night of Onikakushi by a drug addict. Not after that, he suddenly vanished and was now missing. But Satoshi and I were... What? My gaze fell into the bat in my hands. Could it be... It's destiny. Satoshi Hojo. Dude, you didn't even think to observe the bat that you stole. Come on. It was a bit difficult to see, but what was written on the white tape at the end of the bat? I see, so this was Satoshi's bat. Oh. This was Satoshi's bat. Since nobody was using it, I borrowed it. It's not a problem, is it? That's not it! The way Rena said that made it seem like this bat was something that should never be touched. Well, it was covered in mold, so, I mean... Like it was some sort of offering at a shrine, or a memento of the deceased. I could only stand there, perplexed and unable to respond. When I continued speaking without waiting for a reply. Why is it they are doing the exact same thing Satoshi-kun did when it happened to him? Oh. I was talking about more than just a bat belonging to Satoshi. It was the same... It was the same with Satoshi-kun. He joined the baseball team, but he didn't really like baseball. What does that have to do with me? Satoshi-kun also suddenly started walking around with... Satoshi-kun also suddenly started walking around with a bat one day. He joined the team, but, well, he wasn't the type to play sports. He didn't like sports! What about it? I closed my mouth before I could say that out loud. Listen carefully, Keiichi. Ren is trying to tell us something important. I love him talking to himself, treating himself like a different person. Satoshi-kun also one day came to school by himself all of a sudden, just like Keiichi-kun. Then one day he started practicing singing his swing, just like Keiichi-kun. Then one day he began carrying the bat around with him, just like Keiichi-kun. Then one day he suddenly... Then one day suddenly, what? Ren had swallowed her words. The sudden silence brought a hush back to the surrounding area. It was then I could finally digest the content of the entire conversation. She was saying my chain of actions were exactly the same as Satoshi's. What was the meaning of this? Up until now, I'd forgotten all about Satoshi. Never paid much thought to him in the first place. Not only that, I didn't even know anything of what he'd done. My actions today should have been my own creation after the planning I had done, but they had been the exact same as Satoshi's? Then Satoshi... no. More importantly, both Satoshi and I acted the same, then there was a really good possibility that what happened after would be the same. Rena, that day, what happened to Satoshi? Rena knew. She knew what became of Satoshi. No, forget about what happened to that guy in the past. Rena knew what was going to happen to me. Answer me, Rena. Satoshi, what happened to him? With that, I grabbed Rena's shoulder violently and forcibly turned her around to face me. Oh, and then she's gonna just look like, ugh. As I faced her, I felt a jolt travel through my entire body. I told you, Keiichi-kun. It was that person that I didn't know. At least it definitely wasn't the Rena Ryugu that I'd been talking up until now. The voice just now didn't have a trace of the trembling or emotion that it had before. The amount of regret I felt for turning her around so carelessly was unsurpassed. That gaze that pierced like a cold needle, the smile on her face that evoked an image of having been carved out by a knife. Chills went down my spine. My mind froze under a layer of rime. Both of Rena's eyes pierced through mine, leaving me unable to look away. As if to remind me of the fear that time before, Rena brought her face close to mine, so close I could feel her breath. Her face had filled my entire field of vision. Then her sharply shaped lips grew even sharper, like the curve of a crescent moon. She grinned. I told you, Keiichi-kun. After a short pause, Rena repeated the same words again. Satoshi-kun, you see, transferred out. Oh my god. Transferred meaning what? What Rena meant must have been some new definition of transfer that I was previously not aware of. Dude, you know what she means. My throat and lips dried up. I couldn't even acknowledge what I just heard. All I could do was swallow down my own saliva. It seemed that Rena saw that as a nod. She pulled her gaze back and spryly stepped back 2-3 paces. As she did, my legs gave out and I fell to my knees pathetically. Soft Keiichi! Rena had me on my knees underneath her emotionless smile. It had to be a very odd sight indeed. Seeing me in that pathetic state, she neither scoffed at me nor held out her hand. But I could neither stand nor escape with her gaze shooting through my eyes. There was undoubtedly a metal bat in my hand, but right now it was useless to me. I was like a fly caught in her web. Heavy sweat beaded all over my body. I could feel it dripping from my skin. But you won't, will you, Keiichi-kun? Well, I don't know. Rena finally released me from that cage of time after what felt like an eternity. Her question was missing something important and was incredibly vague. Yeah. Once again, I swallowed hard, urging her on. To do what? What did she not want me to do? Transfer? Yeah, but how do we not do that? Oh, okay. So don't leave. Don't try to leave. Right? So maybe Satoshi left of his own volition? Pinch hitter. Haha. Satoshi and I had what? All my well-planned action throughout the day had turned into nothing more than a reenactment of what Satoshi had done. Satoshi, had he really been in the same situation I was in now? The friends he had suddenly gotten with had changed suddenly, and for no reason, at least none that I had noticed, planned to kill him? Then, fearing for his life as I am, got a bat to protect himself and carried it around every day to practice his swing. Then one day, suddenly transferred. My blood went cold, causing a prickling sensation to course through my veins. Starting near my heart, it radiated outwards, from the top of my head to the soles of my feet, chilling every part of me without recourse. What did she mean by transfer? What did she mean by transfer? Was Satoshi still at wherever he transferred to? Sure, he is. Was he the only one who would be able to understand me? Would he be able to tell me why it all ended up like this? More importantly, where did he transfer to? Hell. What did she mean by transfer? What did she mean by transfer? Before I knew it, I was at my front door. Rigid knob was hard to turn. Was nobody home? Wasn't that odd of an occurrence? I reached into my pocket and pulled out a single key attached to my fur seal keychain. Home. I stepped into the entryway. Just as I was about to take off my shoes, a chill ran down my spine. Someone had entered. Oh, no. What? No. Like a classmate messing around, standing upright against my back. You're kidding, right? Had to be my imagination. Logically speaking, it's impossible for someone to be able to hide their presence within my personal space all the way through the door. No smiles here. Only creepy smiles. I don't appreciate that. There was undoubtedly someone behind me. Hey now, Keiichi. How do you know they're there, even though they're behind you? Because I could hear the sound of flowing hair. There's no other reason I'd hear that sound. That was the presence. Because I could hear the sound of them blinking. Oh, God. Oh, it's incredibly threatening. Also, the freaking colon open parentheses emoji. Like, it's bad. It's bad. It's very, very threatening. Like, Keiichi Maibara, there's no way you could hear that. It was mostly instinct that anything else that was warning me of that presence. Common sense was telling me that it was just my imagination. It was just my imagination. There was nobody behind me. I began to erase the mental image of the eerie figure standing behind me. At the same time, I asked myself, if there was nobody, then what was I feeling? As an uncomfortable sensation crawled up my spine. Actually, wouldn't it be better if there was somebody there? If there was nobody there when he turned around, would you be able to accept that? Yeah, because then he'd be so far into paranoia that he'd be imagining things. So, I don't know if it was better if... Nah, it's definitely better if there's no one there. Like, no question. Like, oh my god. I'd be able to answer all those questions just by looking behind me. You'd rather think you're paranoid than be able to confirm that your paranoid delusions are real, you know? But I didn't have enough courage to even do that simple task. Oh right, I could try speaking to them. The person behind me might answer me. It's a random thought. I didn't care how I went about it, so long as I didn't have to turn around. If I'd calmed down and just thought about it, I would have known that it wouldn't have solved anything. Who is it? Spoken just such a hoarse, broken voice I couldn't believe it was my own. I could almost feel them contemplating their response. What should I answer? I felt it. There was no way I'd be able to do that. Calm down, Keiichi. It's all in your head. That time, I was certain I heard it. As if hesitantly trying to answer my inquiry, I was certain I could hear the sound of somebody inhaling. I heard it. I heard it. I heard it clearly. It was a girl. A young girl. I didn't know who, but any speck of courage in me, however reckless it was, inspired a primal yet flitting solution to this current predicament. A scream. All the force of my body released from my lungs and through my throat, ceasing all thought processes in my head. Suppressing all thoughts and emotions, I began to collapse like a house of cards, somehow managing to twist my body and look back as I did so. It was definitely there. Right there. Somebody was there. Until the moment I turned around. Until I brought the air behind me to the field of vision, they were definitely there. Ah. So no one was there. Falling face up, my eyes traced the remnants of the presence suspended in empty space. It couldn't be. They were invisible. It looked like they weren't there, but they were actually still standing there. As I screamed, all the emotions I was holding back burst free in a violent wave. However, I was decidedly calm as my emotional dam collapsed. A turbulent wave of pent-up emotion was skillfully diverted into a torrent of aggression. That emotion was definitely required to extricate myself myself from the bizarre situation happening right in front of me. My state of heightened lucidity, I entrusted my body to the fury. The metal bat held firm in my right hand, as if drawn there by a magnet. Mid-level sweep would be the hardest attack to dodge. I remember reading something like that from a book of about a swordsmanship or something. Rah! I brandished my will to fight. The afterimage of that amalgamation of metal flashed as it swung from left to right, beating against my entryway. Yeah, the empty space of no one being there. The bat slammed into the right wall, the tip rebounding violently. Very calmly, I transferred the force to the rebound into a sweep to the left. You alright, bud? The door of a shoe cupboard was split into pieces. Two swings whiffed through the empty space, but they seemed to have great psychological impact on the enemy. I could feel the panic emanating from that space. The attack wasn't the only thing required. I extracted the bat from the cupboard it was embedded in and screamed as I spun my entire body around in a large arc. Rah! My scream shook the air, booting my ferocious swing with even more destructive power. Dude, it's just your parents! Leave them alone! Oh god. Keiichi, don't become a murderer just yet. Frick. Without mercy or restraint, my violent strike, the certainly fatal force behind it, shattered the top of the cupboard. None of my attacks struck the enemy, but ferocity had certainly seemed to impact them. Breathing heavily, my entire body soaked in sweat, the invisible enemy, there, but not there. dispersed. When I was certain the enemy had retreated, I locked the front door and latched a chain. Ah, that noise, heck. No way, had I only feigned retreat and was now inside my house? What? Dude! No, come on, Keiichi? Stop. Keiichi, stop. Once again, I channeled my aggression and searched the house for a presence. It was gone. I'd succeeded in fending it off. At that moment, the tension drained from my body and let out a deep sigh of relief. All the emotions I'd been holding back chaotically merged together and began to flood out. A hodgepodge of fear, accomplishment, and disbelief all mixed together and began to flow through my body. Unable to deal with each individual feeling, I beat them all back with the strongest, exhaustion. Even in this moment, I remained composed. After checking all the doors throughout the house was locked, I went up to my room on the second floor and closed the curtains. I straightened my back and tilted my head back a little. After clearing my mind of all the idle thoughts, I managed to calm down even more. What was that at the front door? There was definitely something there. Thinking about it, maybe it was just an apparition I dreamt up in my confused state, but I really didn't think that was the case. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. Compose yourself. Now how calmly I thought about it. What just happened wasn't a figment of my imagination. It was obviously a supernatural phenomenon, and without a doubt, something was behind me. It wasn't some sort of illusion I saw amidst my confusion and disorientation. Proof? I just one piece. When I asked, "Who is it?" they inhaled as if they were about to answer. That sound had clearly reached my ears. The situation I was in right now was still unclear. Either I had been possessed by a supernatural phenomenon known as Oyashiro-sama's curse, or this was a ruse by the villagers who believed in it and were imitating it. Either way, their motives were unclear. The roundabout way it had been done was also still a mystery. It was perpetrated by humans. That would mean admitting it was Rena and the rest of them doing it, but it would be solvable. Oichi-san and the rest of the police would surely arrest my enemy. But if it was a manifestation of Yashiro-sama's curse, I wondered what would happen. Oichi-san was very clearly declared that curses didn't exist. At that time, the words were pretty dependable, but as things were now, with the rising possibility of the perpetrators not human, suddenly seemed quite unreliable. If I told Oishi-san this was the work of Yashiro-sama's curse, what would happen? I couldn't imagine his reaction, but it would go without question that a void would rapidly expand between myself and Oishi-san. With me having so few allies to begin with, and not being able to confidently declare whether or not this was a curse or not, there's no merit of doing that. I'd better keep the facts of what just happened at the doorway to myself. It'd be better if I didn't add what happened here to the memo behind the clock. Oh yeah, you'd definitely see me saying that. There was still an ever so slight possibility. I was actually confused, and when I thought I was composed, I was just going berserk in the entryway. How wonderful would that be if that was really what happened? I would be able to refute Yashiro-sama's curse. If I denied Yashiro-sama's curse, then that would mean admitting that Ren and the rest were perpetrators. If I said that Ren and the rest weren't the perpetrators, then that would mean believing in Yashiro-sama's curse. By denying both of those, I'd be admitting that I myself was losing it. 3 options from which I couldn't choose became a trilemma of sorts. They mixed together and formed a whirlpool in my head, making my head spin. Once again, I straightened myself and leaned my back slightly to cool myself down. Calm down, Keiichi. Accept what has actually happened as reality. Stop thinking of anything more than that. But I couldn't help but think of it. How wonderful would it be if it turned out I was delirious, and everything up until now was a figment of my imagination. Yashiro-sama's curse wouldn't exist, and I would still be the bestest buddies with Rena and the rest. I would have to be crazy. That was the first time in my life I'd ever wished to be such a thing. Yeah. When you wish to be crazy, that's the point where you're actually crazy. Oh. Huh? Phone rang noisily downstairs. Generally, there were no calls for me, so I never really answered the phone much. Since my parents weren't here, I had no choice. I squirmed off the bed and went downstairs. Please be a normal phone call. Hello, this is the Maibara residence. Keiichi, this is Mom. I intuitively had a bad feeling about this. With all things nowadays. It's because I thought she was going to ask me to go out and buy some things, so I took the initiative. What? I don't mind having instant noodles for dinner. Still a lot of them. The other day we went out as a family and bought a whole case of cup noodles. Yes! That's good, that's good. Wanted to get a bunch of different kinds actually, but they refused since the individual packs were expensive. So instead I got the whole case of mega-sized pork bone and ginger flavored ones I liked. My parents don't like strong flavors and didn't touch any of them, so the cupboards were still full of them. Which ones? The regular cupboards or the cupboards you destroyed earlier? So you see, there isn't really a need to go shopping, right? Keiichi, I'm not asking you to go shopping. Both Mommy and Daddy have to go to Tokyo right now because of work. Huh? Right now? This was really abrupt. No, we're already here. We left this afternoon. It's quite a distance to Tokyo from Hinamizawa. Running at full speed down the highway would still take 6 hours. Dad has a license, but since he doesn't like the highway, they likely took a train. It would have taken longer. I'm thinking you might understand since you heard us speaking last night. It has to do with Daddy's contract. Right now, things aren't going so smoothly. Now she mentioned it, I did remember that they had talked all that time about how his job prospects weren't looking so good. Daddy's really sensitive about things like this, so if we leave things as they are, it will affect his work. Part of my father's particular fragile, artistic personality. His emotions change as easily as the fall sky. You could also just say he couldn't take criticism. But something like that can't be done over the phone. Keiichi, this is your father's job, so can you support him a bit, please? Anyway, it's just faster to talk about it in person, so there wouldn't be any misunderstandings. As their son, there was nothing more I could say once they started talking about work. So I'll be back tomorrow night. Keiichi, will you be fun on your own? Not like I'll die or anything. Are you sure about that? Keiichi, you shouldn't speak so lightly of dying. Dude, that's this generation's sense of humor. You can't get past it. If there's something troubling you, just talk to us. I believe Mommy will be able to help you out. Yesterday, I did bring up if I died rather abruptly, so I suppose they were a little worried. But really, I was more depressed by the fact that nothing would be solved by telling them. If I didn't plan on dying, at least not while I still knew nothing, I would never allow it. I won't die. I won't. I'll survive even if I have to knock my leg off. Hopefully he said that in a joking manner, and not like, all serious like. Yeah. See you then. Tomorrow morning, make sure to wake up. And eat your breakfast. Don't forget to take a bath and brush your teeth. Yeah, see you. Call ended like that. Sometimes my parents went off to Tokyo for business meetings. Tokyo was far away. They normally did things by phone. The times they did go were normally planned out in advance. It never happened this suddenly. I couldn't say that those circumstances didn't feel strange, or rather, unusual. Unnatural. Anyway, I only need to recognize the reality of the situation. That tonight, I was the only one in the house. That's when my parents came back from work. I'd be gone. Missing. Vanished. Looking back on the series of events of previous 5 years involving Yashiro-san's curse, it wouldn't seem that strange at all. Come to think of it, it was getting pretty late. Didn't think it was good that the only light in the whole house was from my room on the second floor. It was the same as broadcasting to the enemy that my parents were gone, and this was their chance. First I ran to the living room, flicked on the lights, and turned on the TV to a reassuring volume. Next was the study. Simply turn on the lights and some music. Dude, you're wasting electricity! You can't do that! With this from the outside, it would look like my parents were here. Once again, I went through the house, checking to see if anything left unlocked. Dude, you know that they probably know yet your parents are already gone. Like, news spreads around this village way too quickly. When I saw the veranda and the laundry still hanging out there, I went pale. That would have made it too obvious. I needed to take it down. Snatched down the laundry haphazardly and erased all traces of my mother's wasn't there. Should be fine now. The garage. They hadn't gone all the way to Tokyo by car, but they had gone up to Okinomiya Station. The garage was empty, wide open and in plain sight. This was not good. I panicked and rushed out to the back to close the normally open garage door. Should be fine now. I need to get the paper. Mom always got the paper. Since they left in the afternoon, the evening paper was still out there. Dude, the lengths that he's going to. My premonition was correct. I pulled out everything from the mailbox and dropped it in the entryway. With this, for sure this time, it should be fine. Come to think of it, leaving the cupboard busted like that for my freak out was kind of bad. I'll just say I tripped and fell, and then the bat I was holding smashed into it. Even so, just leaving it in its current state wasn't good. I should clean it up a little before Mom get back and scolded me. Remember there was a broom and dustpan in the closet. As I was going to get them, the phone rang once again. Hello, this is the Mayabara residence. This one isn't going to be normal, is it? Oh, is this Keiichi-kun? Is your mother around? Who is it? She isn't here at the moment. You idiot, Keiichi Mayabara! Oh my god, after all the lengths that you went through, you just give it away like that. Could have said like she was asleep or in the bathroom or whatever. Don't reveal that your parents are gone. You can follow up still. Calm down, take care of it. I think she'll be back soon. Good job! Good cover, good cover. That wasn't a good response either. Now they might say they'll call again or to tell her to call them when she comes back. And that's fine. It wasn't anything important. Well then, sorry for the bother. The scenario I feared didn't play out, eliciting a sigh of relief. That call was fortunate in more ways than one. I have to deal with more telephone calls coming in from my parents tonight. I was somehow able to deal with the phone call just now, but I couldn't continue to rely on such poor improvisation. I needed to make up a good story to explain that my parents were home but couldn't answer the phone at the moment. They were making tempura and couldn't step away right now. That wasn't good enough. They were sick and went to bed because they weren't feeling well. Is that going to be safe enough? I was thinking about it on the way back to my room when the phone rang once again. It's like they were calling just because they knew I was going to lie. Oh, dude, just take the phone with you. I didn't want to pick up, but I knew I had to. I'd suspect my parents weren't there. Should have just taken the phone off the hook under the pretense that I didn't realize that it was. But since the phone rang, I had to pick it up. I had prepared myself and lifted up the receiver. Hello? This is the Mayabara residence? Stopped announcing that this was the Mayabara residence. I had no reason to be kind to someone I didn't know the identity of. Kindness is for softies, and Keiichi is no softie. But unlike my uncouth voice, the person on the other side sounded goofy and lighthearted. Hello, my apologies for calling so late. This is Oishi. Oh, Oishi. From the Hokonomiya bookstore. Oishi-san? Is that you, Mayabara-san? Good evening. Good to hear you're doing well. Well, wait just a moment, please. Yeah, wait just a moment. My cat's having an issue. Can you hear that? Baby! Come here. Come here. She meow at me. Hold on. Come here. Okay. Now I have Kitty with me. Okay. I grabbed the portable handset and reached up to my room with it. Yeah, there you go. It was the same no matter where I was since there was no one home, but I wanted to be in a spot that just felt a bit safer when speaking on the phone with Oishi. Don't close the door, though. You need to make sure that there's no one there. Sorry for the wait. How are things? Anything changed since then? Since then? When was that exactly? There's something about the brazen way he talked that rubbed me the wrong way. The last time I spoke with Oishi-san was 2 days ago. The day I stayed home from school. I met Oishi-san on the way back from the hospital, and we headed into town for lunch and we had to talk. And after that, Ren and Mion came to check up on me. Whenever I spoke to Oishi-san, they always knew about it. It was like that since the first time I met him. Today's phone call may well be found out by them as well. Hello? Can you hear me, Mayabara-san? Huh? Sorry. What did you say? I asked if anything's changed since last time. There wasn't an answer, so I got a bit worried. Not really. Okay, you hecking liar, Keiichi. You don't need to lie to him, alright? The words stopped in my throat. There was a ton of stuff that happened, all of it baffling. What should I talk about? I didn't understand any of it, but I should try asking. If I didn't ask now, I may never have another chance. This night my parents weren't home. I had no guarantees I would make it through the night safely, after all. Well, Oishi-san, it seems that someone is after me. Really? Hopefully that's like a concerned really and not a really? Wow. Could be just coincidence, but the day I had missed school when I was sick, the two of them came up to check on me. Which two? Ren and Mion started asking how I had lunch with you. What next? They left me some mochi when they came to visit. There was a needle inside. Fortunately, I somehow didn't swallow it. I wonder, could that have just been a threat? About the needle. It was just one of those common sewing needles you'd see all the time. There was a hole to thread string through. Not that, Mayabara-san. The needle itself. That's evidence. Could be used as proof they threatened you. Where's that needle? Ah, probably in the trash. That's it! That's it! I dropped the receiver and rushed downstairs. When I tossed the mochi, I had overlooked it out of terror. That needle was a valuable piece of evidence. I had certainly thrown the mochi and the needle at the wall together. If it was there, then it would be on the living room wall. No, it wouldn't, because your mom cleaned it up for you. My prudent mother cleaned that living room wall, and there was not a trace of mochi left on it. Could it be that it dropped between the gap of the wall and the carpet? I frantically searched by running the palm along the carpet, but nothing turned up. I tried moving around the sofa and desk, pulling up the carpet and flapping it around. I couldn't find the needle. Did my mom clean up everything without noticing it? It was just 2 days ago. I didn't know what day they collected the burnable trash, but it still may be in the trash bin in the kitchen. Or they snuck into your house and took it. I rushed into the kitchen, opening up the lid of the pail and poured out the contents. But even at a glance, I could tell it would be incredibly difficult to find a needle in this pile of trash. Looking for a needle in a trash stack. Good job, Keiichi. You're not fired out enough to stop making jokes. I know, I'll try running my hand through it. It was a bit gross, but I was looking for a needle. If I felt a small prick, I'd be able to find it. Oh gosh, my kecking cat. Baby, stop! Baby, stop! Over here. Okay. It was a pretty tactless method, but it was the quickest. Held my breath, started striking the pile of trash with my hand. Filth flew about. There was nothing more disgusting than this. It was not the time to be concerned about such details. I continued on for a while, but nothing turned up. I wanted to search more thoroughly, but it was still on the phone. I shouldn't keep Oishi-san waiting for too long. Later, when Mom got back, I'd have to ask her if there was a needle. I hastily began scribbling a note on a notepad affixed to the refrigerator with a magnet. Was there a needle? Was there a needle, Mom? I scrawled the words on with a red pen. Then I dashed back upstairs where I'd been keeping Oishi-san waiting for far too long. Hello? How'd it go? I couldn't find it. I was really overwhelmed back then, and I see. It would be great if you could find it. Keep it safe. That's right, the needle wasn't the only incident. To tell him about this morning with the hit and run. Also, Oishi-san, that isn't all. Actually, this morning, that van was definitely aiming for me. I could say that without question due to the circumstances at the time. Did you see the license plate? Search for it from here. Dude, oh my god. All the things that happened to him, and Keiichi doesn't have a smidge of actual evidence. Damn! I just flipped out yelling at him back then, but I didn't look at the plate. Failures on my part with the needle and the plate number. Just so focused on just protecting myself that I let some of the most important details slip out of my grasp. Punched my pillow, annoyed about how worthless I was. I'm sorry, I don't know much more than that it was a white van. Nothing to fret about, Mayabara-san. Anyone would be shaken up about after being hit. Guess all of this really isn't a coincidence, is it? Yeah, he's got nothing to say to that. Oishi-san started to hem and haw over the other end. I could imagine him folding his arms. Also, Rena's acting strange. How so? Well, Rena said on the way to home today, asking why I was so much like Satoshi-kun. Now I could say it with confidence, that Rena knew what happened to Satoshi. She knew that there was more to it than him just simply disappearing. Rena knows. She knows something regarding what happened to Satoshi, the kid who was demoned away last year. What would that be exactly? Rena said I was the same as Satoshi. She said something to the effect that this way things are going, I'll end up the same fate as Satoshi. Fate, you say? Exactly what kind of fate did she say would befall you? Oh, come on, she used such horrible analogies. Transferring out, she said. Transferring out? Rena said Satoshi transferred out. So given how things were going with me, I'll transfer out, too. Oishi-san let out a stern sigh and then grumbled loudly. Maibara-san, that was probably some sort of threat. Oh my god! Or maybe some type of warning. Oh god, you don't want to hear that coming from a cop. I thought so too. At that point, I started to think, would it be prudent to sum up everything that had happened until now as the machinations of some human perpetrator? Other than the theory of it being Ren and the others, I was left with the Yashiro-sama's curse actually existing as the other only explanation. Of course, I couldn't tell that to Oishi-san. Except, Rena's strange behavior could be proof of other scenarios. Whether it was Yashiro-sama's curse being real, or everything being a part of conspiracy committed by all the villagers, Rena was involved. Rena had to know something. Rena was suspicious. What exactly was Rena? I couldn't help but think she was somehow involved with the prior string of mysterious deaths. I seemed to recall that Oishi-san admitted that he had dug into Rena's past a little. He was probably just downplaying it when he said a little. Meaning he had actually dug pretty deep, most likely. Wanted to hear about Rena. Wanted to know what happened at her previous school, among other things that were still unknown to me. Rena was somebody I should suspect. No, not that. Wanted to know the truth. Tonight, I was alone in this huge house. Even though I said I couldn't count on them, I had lost the security I felt I had just by my parents being around. It wasn't like this house was some sort of fortress or castle. If a malicious person decided to use brute force, they'd easily gain entry. There's no other residence close to the Maibara residence. No one would be able to hear anything, no matter how loud it was. I'd never felt so much resentment towards my father's artistic temperament, and the fact that he had this house built in such a remote location as I did right now. I wondered if it would still be here by tomorrow morning. So I had to ask. Right now. Because I had no idea when the next chance would come. Oishi-san, I have something I wanted to ask about. Don't answer the hecking door. Just keep talking to him. Don't answer the door. Please don't keep anything from me. Sure, ask away. Even though he was so far away on the other end of the line, this was the most reliable he had ever felt. Wanted to ask about Rena. About what happened to her previous school. Actually, regarding Rena's... I noticed the sound had been going on for a while now. I was so focused on the call I hadn't paid attention to it at first, but I realized it was the doorbell. The time was 7 o'clock. It was past the time the postman would be making delivery, past any sensible time for a neighbor to be visiting. I considered it just acting like nobody was home, but that wouldn't be good. That would ruin all the work I put in making it look like my parents were home. Yeah. Needed to answer the door. Hello? Maibara-san. Sorry, someone seems to be at the door. I'm gonna see who it is. Well, if it is wireless, just take it with you. I guessed? I see. My apologies. Should we end this phone call now? Don't. Don't. Do not. That would be a problem. No, I'll be back in a second. Do you mind if I just leave the phone on? It's fine, I don't mind. I dropped the handset on my bed and dashed down to the door. Yeah, you should have hecking bring it with you because then he could hear what was going on, like for himself. I needed to make up a good excuse to get them to leave. I had a hunch it was the lady who called right before Oishi-san did. In which case, it would be one of the neighbors who's friends with my mom. I'll just say Mom isn't feeling well and went to bed early. That would be the easiest option. It's not gonna be a friend. It'd be an ex-friend. It'd be hard for her to ask me to wake up my mom if she's not feeling well. The bell continued to ring at regular intervals. If someone didn't answer right after you rang the bell so much, you'd normally give up and go home, wouldn't you? Without removing the chain, I opened the door slightly and peered out at the visitor. Chill ran down my spine. I knew it. Somewhere deep inside, I'd prepared for this moment. I tried to escape by imagining it was the easiest person to deal with, one of my mom's friends. Oh? Of course. Good evening. Rena. There shouldn't be any reason for Rena to come over at this hour. Timing also made me feel uneasy. Because it was just about... I was about to ask Oishi-san about Rena. Wish I could have chalked this up to a mere coincidence. But those unsettling words from Mion several days ago echoed back to me. There's nothing that this old man doesn't know. Yeah, seems to be facts. Are you alone, Rena? Yeah. Seems that Mion wasn't with her. But that didn't change the situation at all. Why did you come here? Hey, Keiichi, I'd like you to open the door so we can talk. Can I come inside? I wonder? It's true that speaking through a chained door wasn't the right way to talk to a classmate, but she was not a classmate anymore. She was a suspect, a perpetrator. In my house, the chain has to be on at night. Don't worry about it. Then can't be helped, I guess. Rena pouted rather sadly, but she kept smiling at least, and her effort to keep that smile up was quite pitiful. Even though she was tugging my heartstrings, I didn't lower my guard. As long as I stayed like this, even if I made my heart ache, my life wasn't in danger. What I really feared, more than the possibility that hoodlums would assault me if I removed the chain, was trusting Rena enough to remove the chain and having my friendship betrayed. As long as the chain wasn't unlatched, even if it made my heart ache, I wouldn't have to deal with being betrayed by Rena. Since it didn't seem like I'd remove the chain from— Why do I keep saying train? Chain! From her silent urging, she appeared to have given up on trying to get into the entranceway. Have you eaten it yet, Keiichi-kun? No, I haven't eaten. So my mom wasn't there. Dinner wouldn't be ready no matter how long I waited. I laid down when I got home, was woken up by the phone, and didn't have a chance to eat since I used to all that time talking. I was going to have cup noodles in any case. I could just eat one whenever I wanted to. Oh, that's the convenience of cup noodles. No, not yet. What about it? Then good. Look here. I brought a bunch of dishes. Rena held out a stack of boxes wrapped in cloth. If I could use your kitchen, I can heat up the miso soup and other stuff. It's fine. You don't need to do that. Yeah, dude, last time she literally tried to kill you with her food. So, you know. But there's a lot of tofu and vegetables in it. I don't care how healthy it is. Get it away from me. Does Keiichi-kun not like that type of stuff? I wonder? There's no way I wouldn't like that. I love miso soup with a lot of ingredients. White radish, carrots, burdock roots, potatoes, dense and fibrous root vegetables. Yeah, that miso soup looks incredible. Do not waver, Keiichi! This is a trap! I also bought rice. If you microwave it, you can eat it really quickly. Without doubt, rice needs miso soup. Stuffing rice down your gullet, sipping miso soup in between ravenous bites. Oh yes, how wonderful it is to be born Japanese. Also, I made more pickles. I made sensai pickles this time. Before I moved here to Hiramizawa, I scoffed at the mountain vegetables called sensai. But I was captivated by their charm the first time I tried them. Such a deep, yet light flavor. The vegetables from the supermarket were tasteless and bland compared to these. If you had to describe them, then they were the vegetables for the uninitiated. To become an expert, such as myself, you first had to partake of sensai. It was common knowledge around here that the Ryugu's family traditional pickles were wonderfully delicious. No matter what kind of pickles they were, do not hesitate, Keiichi. This long spiel of food, you cannot waver. They'd go so well with that fluffy white rice. And also, but wait, there's more! So delicious, it seems so delicious. Farewell to my unhealthy self who said he'd make do with cup noodles. Rena appeared to be good in spirits when she'd offering such delicious sounding dinner. Stress evaporated from my gut and hunger reared its voracious head. At the same time, my wariness of Rena suddenly dwindles. Rena did say she was alone. Shouldn't be a problem letting her inside. Shut up! Just because I like pickles and Keiichi likes pickles. You know? We actually have a lot in common, me and Keiichi. Now that you say something? But literally, Keiichi, keep your eye on the prize of not dying tonight, alright? Though the possibility that it was laced with poison still hadn't been ruled out. That moment a cold chill ran down my spine once again. I couldn't understand why such a sensation had occurred just then, but the voice inside me was sounding the alarm. This happy Rena speaking of this charming dinner was dependent on one premise. That premise was that tonight dinner hadn't been made at my house, meaning it was under the assumption that my mom, who should be making it, wasn't here. In a normal household, 7 o'clock would be around the middle of dinner time. If my mom were here, we'd be eating dinner around this time as well. The fact that she brought over all this makings of a meal at this time was inherently strange. Unless she knew. Rena. Did she know that my parents weren't home? Well, it's quite obvious. that she knows. But there was also a chance that this was a bluff. I had turned on the lights and a bunch of other stuff to make it seem like my parents were here. There was a chance that Rena was unsure if my parents were home. But I had to wonder. The laundry, the garage, the evening paper. There were plenty of signs of them being hastily tidied up. It's hard to say that Ren didn't have a chance to determine if my parents were here or not. But there was no reason for me to confess that right now. I should try holding on to the fact as long as I could. First of all, the chain was still latched. As long as I didn't take it off, Rena wouldn't be able to do anything to me. Yes! Stay safe. Stay safe. Keep the latch on. I'm quite grateful, but dinner will be ready pretty soon. Yes! Save it! Save it!
Huh? Is that so? Is that so?
I know you went through all the effort and everything, but, well, I'm able to think of a good way to refuse. My words trailed off weakly.
But some of this could work as side dishes, I think.
I'm sorry, we have more than enough already. My mom always makes quite a few sides, so...
Huh? You have side dishes?
The smile that bordered on a cringe, I dodged her questions apologetically. But the feeling I tried to ignore began creeping up on my back again. I spoke as if my mom was setting down dinner right now, but it didn't mesh well with what Rena was saying. Rena was talking as if she was aware of some obvious fact, and that I was aware of it as well. Dude, you forget that cringe is an actual word and an actual expression?
So Keiichi-kun can cook? What did you make, I wonder?
So she knows that his parents aren't here, and is assuming he's making it. No, well, it's not that Rena assumed out of nowhere that I had made the dishes. No, not so much I had made them, but rather my mom hadn't.
Did you really make them? The side dishes?
Oh, stop.
Did you, Keiichi-kun?
It wasn't me who made them. My mom did. No, she's making them. In the process. Right now! So, you see, I'm sorry, but I can't eat what you brought. I don't think she's buying it. Rena fell silent at that moment. At that moment, I felt that a light had suddenly disappeared from her eyes.
How about I try guessing what Keiichi-kun's dinner will be?
Oh, don't say cup noodles! Don't say it! It doesn't matter what I'm going to eat.
Let's see.
Conversation might appear natural at first glance, but Rena was firmly in control. Felt like I was being interrogated.
Your dinner, I wonder, is it something that can be made with just hot water?
Hey now, stop with the insults. Can't believe you'd belittle my mom's extravagant dinner like that. Tickets sold out, full capacity already. It's that amazing. Yes, Keiichi, hitting it with the jokes. Oh my god. I tried my best to put on a strong front, but I couldn't grit my teeth quite right. So instead, I looked like someone who was borderline hysterical. Tickets sold out, full capacity already! Is that amazing? But Rena showed no reaction whatsoever, even to that silliness.
Keiichi-kun, did your mother really leave you dinner?
Yeah, so she knows. She knows. No, you see, she didn't leave me dinner. She's making it right now. Listen to me, Rena! It's almost time for dinner. Rena had taken that assertion of mine that my mother was home and making it dinner right now, and was completely ignoring it. I could tell that the more I panicked, the colder Rena became.
Hey, Keiichi-kun.
At that moment, an uncomfortable chill crept in from the gap in the doorway.
Is your mom home? I wonder?
I couldn't keep up the charade anymore. Rena. She knew full well my parents weren't home, but I'd come too far to admit that now. Anyway, my parents were here and we'd be having dinner soon. It was a situation I had concocted. So I answered. I told her she was here. She's here, of course. I could feel the humidity drying out from the surrounding air. Rena's eyes were becoming more frigid, piercing me with their gelid glare.
Why?
Huh? Whoa, what do you mean? Tried acting casual, but that facade was torn off me the instant I looked into Rena's eyes. That look informed me of Rena's response faster than she could open her mouth.
Why have you been lying to me? I wonder.
I'm not lying.
That's a lie, isn't it?
It's not a lie. Lies! Rena outburst seemed like sent a jolt surging through my body. Rena and I were still separated by what a few inches of that slightly ajar but still chained door could afford. But despite that, I was still being cornered. My house, which I'd consider a safe haven until now, become more like a dark alleyway where no one could save me.
Shall I guess your dinner, Keiichi-kun? Let's see.
I now knew Rena had already known that my parents would not be here tonight. But it was still so strange that it had come to this. Even if she somehow knew my parents weren't home. There was no way she could be able to guess what I'd be eating tonight. But Rena said she could guess. How could she guess it? How could she know it was instant
cup noodles? That's right, isn't it?
That I was going to eat. Wait, the cooking repertoire of a man who can't do all the housework was probably nothing but cup noodles after all. Looking at this statistically, it was the most probable answer. Yeah, so it's not as creepy as he thought it was going to be. That didn't mean she was guessing.
I don't think you'll be full with just noodles. I think having rice and stuff will definitely hit the spot.
Calm down, Keiichi Maebara. This was just coincidence. Rena was just reading certain tales of mine. So the fact that she was inferring what I was thinking alarmed me. But it wasn't if she was actually reading my mind. If it was being read, then she was a demon. No, not a demon. Things like that. They couldn't possibly exist.
Do you like them?
You mean noodles?
No.
What? What is that? Murder? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 letters. Oyashiro? Oyashiro. No, that's 7. I don't know. Rena indicated that the point of my answer was dressing was wrong. The rebuttal was so short that I momentarily didn't understand the words Rena had spoken. Yeah, what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Heck, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know. Sorry, Rena. What did you say just now?
Huh? About what?
Just now, you asked me if there's something I like, didn't you? It was long before I regretted how carelessly I'd pushed forward with that question. It's just a simple answer, why I wasn't able to comprehend it. Oh!
Pork bone and ginger flavor?
Oh, dude, you even got the flavor right. Dude, that's next level. Wonder how it appeared in the moments of my mind went completely blank until the moment I was able to recover. Phones tapped. Not even phones tapped. She probably followed him to the store and saw what he bought. Or snuck into his house and saw what he bought. But I really don't think phones tapped. As my field of view began to distort, slowly swirling in a counterclockwise direction, I lost all sense of balance. Why do you know that? I didn't even deny it. That was the type of frenzied state I was in. How could Rena know even this? Not even caring as I mashed the head against the door, I fixed my gaze on Rena. She didn't even flinch when she saw me do that. I certainly did buy them. I bought a bunch at once. I bought a whole case. How could you know that?
Why, I wonder? Quite strange, isn't it? Isn't it?
How could you dodge a question at a time like this? Dude, she does not care at all. The chain and the door suddenly were no longer protecting me. How do you know? Why do you know? Answer me!
You bought them at 7th Mart, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so it's like a village of well-connected, knowing people. So they all keep an eye on this man's and tell each other what's going on at every instance. So they're all on board and they all know everything about him. I think that's what's happening. It's not like Rena's some all-knowing being. Like, she's not a heckin' god. She's not Oyashiro-sama, you know? It's literally the village, I think. I don't know. Shiver ran up my spine. Tried covering it up with an angry facade. Well, that begs the question then. How do they remember all of this information about him? Like, being told the information is one thing, but remembering everything? Man, they must be pretty good at their jobs, huh? Tried covering up with an angry facade. Like I said, how do you know that?
I was behind you, following you the whole time.
Oh, okay, no, I was wrong. She literally was just following him. What are you saying? Can't understand why she was saying she'd been following me all this time.
That's because Rena was right behind Keiichi-kun's back the whole time.
Oh, stop. Stop. Like that night I was absorbed in my phone conversation with Oishi-san. I didn't even sense her being there, just standing behind the door, behind me, standing there, just like that. When Keiichi was picking out the noodles, I was watching the entire time. Picked out so many different flavors, didn't you? When your mom got angry, you were going to pick the expensive ones, then she'd just pick one type, she said. Bruh! Jesus! Oh my god.
Then Keiichi-kun picked out that big box of pork bone and ginger flavor that he loved so much, didn't he? I like it too.
You should share your noodles with me.
Pork bone noodles? But I can never eat the whole big bowl by myself.
My brain was paralyzed, dulling my senses. Might have been a defense mechanism to diminish the fear I was feeling to non-traumatizing levels. The fear being diminished, the fog enveloping my mind was cleared away. Then, I could understand what Rena was saying, and started to put meaning behind her words. Even so, my fear hadn't subsided completely. It was like I was standing at the edge of a cliff, eyes closed so I didn't have to look down. It didn't actually solve any basic problems. I slowly took a step backwards, and as I withdrew, Rena advanced. Into the door?
So, Keiichi-kun, can you open this? We can eat dinner together. I'm sure it's going to be delicious, so, okay?
Rena's pale, slender fingers squirmed through the crack in the door one at a time, as if they had mind of their own, rattling the chain. If she had unlatched a chain from the door, a feeling of terror would have just exploded within me. But Rena didn't do that. She was simply imploring me to remove the chain. So it's like a vampire. She can't come in unless we let her, right? She was doing her hardest to light the fuse to the power keg in my heart, trying again and again. Clatter, clatter. Rattle, rattle. But it doesn't light. It doesn't light. Open up.
Open up, Keiichi-kun?
How about no? Please go away. I beg you, please go away.
How can you say something so mean? I wonder.
Please go away. Go away. Go away! Ah! Cries. Powder keg inside me finally went off. It's no smoldering, it just exploded. I tackled the door. The force through the door had knocked Rena momentarily off balance. Couldn't hesitate here. I grabbed onto the doorknob with both hands, planted my feet firmly, and pulled with all my might. But that slamming sound I so desired didn't happen. I could feel a tiny disturbing bit of resistance keeping the door from closing. And the source of that was Rena's fingers. Each of those fingers wriggling, squirming around like the tendrils of a carnivorous plant through the crack of a door. Ugh. It hurts. It hurts, Keiichi-kun, it hurts. Ugh. It wasn't a harsh shriek, more of a yelp she was trying to keep back. Go away, go away, go away. Kept on pulling the door with all my might. I didn't even realize if I didn't loosen my pull on the door momentarily, Rena won't be able to pull her fingers out. And that's why the door wasn't closing.
It really hurts, Keiichi-kun. Sorry if I was messing around too much.
I didn't care one bit for her apology. Yeah, like, that wasn't messing around. She knew what she was doing. No matter how much she apologized, it didn't change any of what she had done until now. It didn't change anything.
It hurts, it hurts. I'm sorry.
Go away, go away, go away! And I couldn't even leave if she wanted to because I trapped her fingers. Rena's white fingers had become a deep red and were no longer even squirming.
I'm sorry.
Go away, go away, go away!
I'm sorry.
Rena's apologies were occasionally twisted with pain like a broken record. She was intent on repeating it over and over. Go away, go away, go away! Stop it! Pulled on the door even harder. Finally, Rena's fingers were somehow able to slip out from the imprisonment in the doorway. I think she's sorry. Oh, really? I didn't notice. No. She's just saying that. She doesn't feel an ounce of apology within her heart. If she has one, that is. The moment that happened, the door closed soundly, and I could hear the thud of Rena falling on her butt on the other side. I locked the door immediately. Made a loud clunk, voicing my rejection to Rena.
I'm sorry. Keiichi-kun, I'm sorry. Open up, Keiichi-kun.
Rena leaned against the door, apologizing profusely and nothing else. For confirming that I was officially sealed off from her, I trudged away from the entryway. On the other side, I could still hear Rena echoing her apology. I'm sorry. Those pitiful words. They can be forever seeking my forgiveness. I didn't feel bad about this at all. That wasn't out of any sort of malice. I just felt a sort of hazy sense of relief that I was able to escape from Rena. Before, Miona threatened me at this doorway, saying there was nothing she didn't know. And just now, at the same place, Rena told me the same thing. My feeble attempt to disguise the fact that my parents weren't even home served no purpose from the start. Well, okay. I should have just pretended to be out and not even open the door. I know, Keiichi. We all know you're stupid, okay? My meager plans hadn't helped at all. In Hinamizawa, it was impossible to outwit them. Even though I was on the other side of the door, I wanted to get as far away from Rena as possible. 1 step, 2 steps. With each one, her sniveling apologies became more distant. God, good thing his parents didn't come home at this point. They'd probably think that he did something bad to her. Jesus. Sprinted up the stairs and dove into my room. As you would expect, I was finally no longer able to hear Rena repeating her endless apology. I didn't know Oishi's still on the phone from earlier. Diving into my bed, I was startled by the hard lump I felt. There's something in my bed? The phone? It was the receiver. I finally remembered. I was in the middle of a call with Oishi-san. Looking at the clock, apparently not much time had passed since I went downstairs. Could it be that my clock had run out of batteries? I'd talked with Rena for so long. How did almost no time pass? The hand on the clock was ticking forward 1 second every second as usual. I put the still warm receiver to my ear, which felt frozen, began moving once again. Hello, Oishi-san? Sorry to keep you waiting. No, not at all. I didn't wait that long. From apparent the amount of time that had passed between myself and Oishi-san was different. Over the phone, I could hear an energetic voice from a sports program or something. It drove home just how far away Oishi-san really was. Rena came just now. Did you come to play? Nah. I wasn't confident that I could coherently explain the situation to Oishi-san, considering it just happened as well. But I didn't need to right now. Right now, I need to know about Rena. That's right. I planned to ask Oishi-san more about Rena, but Rena's little visit had interrupted that conversation. What was true and what was false, I couldn't tell. One thing I knew was the single grim reality that Rena was suspicious. I might be able to figure something out if I asked Oishi-san about her. Until now, I'd regretted it whenever I forced myself to ask about things that I was better off not knowing. But looking at it that way, you could say I'd hit the rock bottom. There was no possible way I could feel any more regret than I did right now. No, rather, I wanted to know if there was anything beyond this I would regret more. Forget about tomorrow. It wasn't out of the realm of possibility for something to happen tonight. I wanted to know everything I could. I was absolutely not going to die like this. Not without knowing anything, I definitely won't. Regarding Rena Ryugu-san, I did a bit of digging. Yeah, well, it wasn't much. I understood that Oishi-san was talking in circles. A bit meant I dug so deep it'd be hard to discuss with you since you're her friend. I want to know everything from your research. I don't think you'll be very interested in what I have to say, though. Oishi-san. I spoke as calmly as possible to Oishi-san, who was continuing to avoid the issue. Then I said it. I think Rena Ryugu is suspicious. Rena sus? Oh my god. Even if past incidents were from Oyashiro-sama's curse, Rena Ryugu was involved. I feel like I just ruined whatever, like... I ruined whatever atmosphere that was developing. Do you have some sort of proof that makes you believe Rena-san is suspicious? The manner in which Oishi-san spoke became very firm. Do you have some sort of proof? Else I'm talking as a detective. I only have some circumstantial evidence. I see. I could tell even over the phone how disappointed Oishi-san was. Pulling on the fishing line when he felt bait, only to reel in the bait. Bite bait, yes. Disappointed but ready to cast the line once more. That's how it seemed. Oishi-san, you can't do anything without physical proof, can you? What I meant was, he can't come and save me without proof. Stuck that barb in there. As Oishi-san loved roundabout ways of saying things, he understood me just fine. It's fine, Maibara-san. I'll protect you. Oh! At least he has one friend. That was not the least bit reassuring. Come on! Oishi-san was just using me to continue his investigation. I was just going to get killed, and my corpse would be an important piece of evidence. That's all I was to him. Whether I'm alive or dead may be of no concern to your investigation, but it's all over for me when I die. Oishi-san went silent on the other end of the line. It may have been too blunt, but I didn't care. All I needed was relay to Oishi-san that I was currently in a very dangerous position. So please, tell me about Rena. Satoshi transferred out. Not too far in the future. I'll probably also do what Rena called transferring— oh, Satoshi. Right. But you won't be able to find my corpse. You haven't been able to find Satoshi's body yet? Alright, Maibara-san. Please calm down. I was already suppressing my agitation even without Oishi-san having to tell me. It wouldn't solve anything if I continued to scream about my mistrust in the police. It would seem that I could only depend on myself and the bat Satoshi left behind to protect myself. Then, I at least wanted to know about what happened before Rena transferred schools. You're aware this won't be very interesting, right? Oishi-san, realizing my resolve wouldn't be swayed, finally caved. Right now, to me, there is nothing that I'll find Right now, there's nothing to me but yes, please. There are a few things I need you to agree to, okay? Please keep this confidential. Also, part of this may be speculation. Not all of it may be true. Are you still interested? It might not be true? I don't understand what you mean. There isn't one main investigation for a mysterious chain of deaths in Hinamizawa. Each one is treated as their own individual case. Thus, Rena Hyuga has never been linked to any of the investigations. Basically, you see, this isn't an investigation of Rena done by the police. And this is a personal inquiry, is what you're telling me. This will make things a lot quicker since you understand. All this is from earlier phone calls or meetings and interviews, so they aren't corroborated. I'm asking you to take this all with a grain of salt, is what I mean. We have an agreement? All of it is just from what you've heard? Man, that's disappointing. I thought I was gonna get the facts. Yes, my apologies. It's all my personal investigation, you see. That thing before, you said Rena's chart, didn't you? I'm sure you said that. I heard you say that. We just saw him pause for a moment on the other end of the line. Told you that too. Please pretend you didn't hear anything about that. Oh, really? I didn't care about Oishi-san having certain obligations or responsibilities. I also didn't care if there was no proof. Even if they were just rumors, there's no smoke without fire, after all. Please tell me, Oishi-san. Understood. Oishi-san finally opened those tight lips of his. It seemed that Rena-san lived in Hinamizawa for a long time ago. She had moved to Ibaraki Prefecture after she finished elementary school. Then, following that, right after transferring, an unfortunate incident with the breaking of the school windows happened. Then Rena confided it to the doctor.
Musayashio-sama.
This was all that he knew. There isn't much difference between what I know and what you know, Maibara-san. Then what part did you investigate further? I didn't need to ask. It was the incident that happened just after she transferred. The incident Rena was responsible for, and what she divulged to the doctor afterwards, correct? Yes. After you learned about that, you started suspecting Rena and the others, didn't you? Yes, I did suspect them. So they're the ones, after all. No, that's not what I meant by suspect them. Huh? Oishi-san was the type of person to say things with confidence, but these particular words were less than reassuring. Then, who do you suspect? That it was Oyashio-sama. Oh, great. Huh? That Oyashio-sama's curse really exists. Yeah, right, well... Oh, it's flip-flopped. Heck, I was doing it the other way around. He suspects Oyashio-sama, not Keiichi. Certainly not the kind that would make you want to join in. Oishi-san resumed the conversation. The dubious circumstances behind Satoshi's disappearance. The course of events until the start of delving of delving into Rena's past. Just then, there was a thunder in the distance, and heavy rain started pouring down. It came without warning, rain so heavy it felt like it could beat you down. I had left the window in my room open to a crack to let the heat out. A violent wind danced into my room, making the curtains flap wildly. What is it? Nothing. It started raining heavily. Sorry, please continue. I got up while still on the phone and closed the window. I said at the beginning it was just an incident, but because neither the school nor the victims filed charges, police were never involved. So you see, those involved were very reluctant to talk. Regardless of there being a victim who had one eye beaten so badly that it had permanent damage, it could have been the school or probably some individual had made arrangements to keep this from going public. Also, the psychologist was very strict about their professional ethics. Hello? Maibara-san? Can you hear me? Oh no. There's a figure of a person standing by the light near a mailbox this whole time. Even in this torrential rain, they didn't have an umbrella. They were unquestionably drenched from head to toe. In a shower, which more resembled a waterfall, droplets of water dripped down from her hair. I like the blue tint. Just standing there, both arms dangling at her side. Please do stop it! One hand was a stack of boxes wrapped in cloth. Dude! She's been there the whole time! With her food! Jesus Christ. Focused on me as I was about to close the window. Her mouth was methodically repeating a chewing motion. As if she had something hard to chew on in her mouth, with her cheeks puffing out. What could she be eating over there? The needle? How could it be at this time? I was more enthralled by Rena instead of the shocking developments being brought to light by Oishi-san. If I hadn't started raiding, I wouldn't have gone to her that window. Then I wouldn't have noticed Rena, nor would I have noticed that. Rena's mouth was moving in the same pattern. She wasn't eating something, she was repeating something. What was it? What was she repeating to me? What was she saying? Well, why was I right up against the window, fixated on her? She stares at you, and you stare back. Hello? Maibara-san, can you hear me? Hello? I'm sorry. Maibara-san. I'm sorry. Ah! I'm sorry. Hello? Maibara-san. What's the matter? Even this torrential downpour when I was still apologizing. The other self inside me drew the curtain hastily with my right hand, blocking my view of the outside. But even doing that, Rena's relentless apologies still reached my ears. I'm sorry. If I forgive you for this, will you forgive me for that? Dude, when you say sorry this many times, it starts to come off as ungenuine, okay? You know that words lose meaning the more time you say them? Please stop. I'm sorry. Damn it. Why did I have to forgive her? I'm the one who wants to be forgiven. What part of me you forgive? I won't be killed. If you won't forgive me, then I won't forgive you either. I won't forgive. Won't forget. Won't forgive, won't forget. Won't forgive. I won't forgive. Maibara-san, if you can hear me, then please respond. Hello? Bro, he's out of it. I wonder, did he ever continue that conversation? Maybe. Probably not. But you've received new tips. Split personality? ? At the 7th bar. Rain of apologies. God. Rena needs the church. Usually I wouldn't recommend the church to people, but, you know. No, she has too much church. That's what it is. Bro, she got too much church. But, yeah, I think this is gonna be it for today, fellas. While the rain in the background. The sad rain. But, yeah, that's probably gonna be it for today. We'll continue another time. And we seem to be going to the end of this. So we might actually finish next time or the time after that. We could probably finish this chapter anyway, but I do not like Rena at all. I'll be honest. I know she's like a fan favorite, but no. And I relate with Keiichi on like, you know, such a level. Why not? Do you see her? Do you see what she's doing right now? Oh, shut up, East. Shut up right now. Oh my god. No, 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 no. No. Not. I mean, she can be cute, but also methodically evil at the same. Not even evil, just like cruel. Because what she's doing is like psychological torture on this poor boy. It's not all fine. It will never be fine until we start the next chapter. But yeah, that's it. Goodbye, fellas. See you next time. Have a good day / night. Yeah, that's about it then. I go now. Listen to the rain, and hopefully, it can soothe you to sleep, maybe? Bye. Yeah, East, let me know if she's there or not. Let me know.